Hi guys, I'm back with another video. This one is called You Are. I it's actually titled You Are My Forever and Ever, but that was gonna be a long title on the screen. So here I am using I think this is what you call the negatives of a cut file. I cut this cut file like sometime in 2013, 2015 maybe, and I just kept the negatives because I know that I wanted to use them. I thought I was going to use them on that 12 by 12 piece of white paper, but I thought they would look neat. Uh, Cutting them out and then using them as elements on a page. And so I started off with this background. I think it's a Dear Lizzie paper. The 6x6 papers are, I know from Plus One, the striped one and the one with typewriter font words. And then the other one is a it's from a 6x6 pad called With Love from American Crafts. Here I'm showing you my stitched roses. I um, did the February layout shares, and I really don't know how I feel about the stitched roses. I did show a preview of the roses beforehand and then after, and I'm kind of digging the way they looked without the stitching. So maybe if I would have done maybe a three strand um, embroidery floss stitching instead of with the whole 6 strands, maybe it would have looked better, but I'm not sure. I'm just gonna have to try to do another black, red, and white layout like this to see and use the remnants of those flowers that I have, because I think I still have like 4 or 5 more, and see if I like them better without the stitching. So here I'm using a few other elements, especially the chipboard elements. You can see them over to the right hand side, towards the middle of the screen. I have a bunch of enamel dots, and I try using this chipboard from, I think it's We Are Memory Keepers, like the chalkboard collections. And I don't end up using the chipboard frames are always difficult for me for whatever reason, but this one was just too chunky and I didn't want it to be, I thought with the flowers and the frame together it was just going to be too much of one of big things, of big elements. So I nixed that idea. I did use the doilies, but they don't feel as weighty as the frame did or as the roses did. Here my son's showing me some Legos down there, so I usually have an assistant when I'm scrapbooking during the day. Here I am gluing all the strings of embroidery down just to make sure that they don't come loose. And then I just like that layered effect of the 6x6 papers. It didn't bother me that I didn't cut out the excess because I have a ton. I don't have very many 6x6 pads, I don't think, but I do have enough to say I'm going to use this paper up and I'm okay with not cutting it up. So I did end up putting those chipboard elements on the top left and bottom right hand corners. Those are from Mambi and from the chalkboard sets. I can't remember. I think it's My Mind's Eye. All Things Chalk from My Mind's Eye. That's what it is. So it's like either the first collection or the second collection. I'm using washi tape, or no, scrap piece of paper to hold down where I had glued the string, just to reinforce that and so that they won't come loose. Even if not that the glue isn't great, because I have that tacky glue from the Scotch brand glue. I don't know what it's called nowadays. And I have that in that Quillers. It's a quilling glue bottle, and I got that 40% off at Hobby Lobby. And those are a lot cheaper than the fine liner bottles, and I haven't had any problems with it. It did need a little bit of water, very little amount of water, but the bottle is really squeezable, and it works really well. The top hasn't. The only problem I think I have with it is that it comes with a plastic top, and that plastic top is attached to itself. So you won't lose the top, but if you're not careful with the thing that attaches it to the top, it can break off. So then you have to start looking for the little end cap by itself if you break off that tether. So here I knew that I wanted to put the roses down at the bottom, and this is just a picture of my oldest niece. Her name is Linda, and I've started making scrapbook pages for her and her family too. And this is just her um, with her kids in front of a mirror, and they're all taking a selfie. And yeah, so it's just pretty much self-explanatory from here on out. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put these chipboard elements, because now that I put the word you are, I'm trying to figure out where the rest of my chipboard elements will go. I thought that you are element, which is a printable from Heidi Swap. I got it a few years back. It's a free printable thing, a free printable page still, I think. You would be able to find it on Pinterest. I think that's where I got it from, or from her website. And I printed it out, and I just liked the way that it coordinated, and that whole printable was just hanging out in my um, things, and it wasn't taking up space. It's a flat sheet of paper, but I felt that that I could use it, especially on this page. So this is mainly just me trying to figure out what other elements I can use. I'm still trying really hard to use that chipboard frame, but it just doesn't work. And I keep trying and trying and trying, and I really want to use it up. I'm determined to use it up somehow, but it just doesn't make it on this layout. It just brings up too much weight. It just brings up too much weight on the top, and I didn't want it there. I kind of wanted that part open, and more of like the embellishment focus to be on the roses rather than anything else. The main focus, of course, is the photograph, but here I put down the rest of my Forever Endeavor, and I just love Heidi's handwriting, and I love the calligraphy part of it. It's just really nice. So here I'm trying to find more chipboard elements, and most of these are from Mambi. The ones that have like the smiles and the I love you and the arrows, the chipboard hearts are all from Mambi. That love circle down at the bottom. The squiggly line is from Studio G, and I also tried to incorporate some of those because I bought them impulsively over at Joann's, and so I'm trying to finish those up. Here I'm covering up my layout because I do want to add some black velvet color shine spray from Heidi Swap, and I add a little bit of that. And so I'm shaking up the bottle real well, and I try not to go overboard because lately I've been using the color shine sprays, and my feeling is that if I add too much right at the beginning, I can't undo that. But if I add a little bit at a time, and for me this is a little bit, then if I don't feel at the end of the layout that it needs more, I can always go back and cover up the photos or other elements that I don't want to have a lot of the color shine spray, and just add more as I go. But I thought this was a little bit this was pretty good. I don't think I've glued down any of my elements here. I know that I do end up at the end of the I know that I do end up coloring the letters on the printable a darker shade of black, because I felt like they were getting lost in all the black and white. I wanted them to pop up a little bit more. Here I'm using some Recollections dimensional, they're like faceted gems, and they have prints, but I only ended up using the dots, the white with black dots, and then the black with white dots. I hope that made sense. And some of the solid black gemstones. Here I'm trying to add layers to this part of the layout just to give the picture a little bit of emphasis as to where the picture starts and the papers, or where the photograph ends and the pattern papers begin. And I add some of these all things chalk from my mind's eye enamel dots as well. Other than that, I don't add anything else or much to the layout. I did end up moving these chipboard pieces over to the left-hand side. I just felt like they needed more visual weight down at the bottom. And I did add a date stamp with the Heidi Swap roller date stamp. She has the words written in her handwriting. So here are some close-up pictures. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked the video or the layout. And if you have any questions or concerns, leave them down below. I always like hearing from my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing, and we will see you in the next process video. Bye!